G'day YouTube, it's Marty from Music Video Master. In this video I'm counting down my top 5 favourite MTV Unplugged concerts. So if you're new to this channel and you're wondering what it's all about, this is the channel where I talk to you about my music DVD collection. I do some reviews, I do some countdowns, some unboxings, and generally share my passion for collecting this medium and my passion for music with you. So I grew up in Australia, where unfortunately we didn't get MTV, but everybody in Australia in my generation knew about the MTV Unplugged concerts. It was a special time, I think. It was a time when really awesome music was in the mainstream, and I mean not only grungier bands like Pearl Jam and Soundgarden, but also guitarists like Clapton and Stevie Ray Vaughan. They were in the top 40 charts, so it was a very interesting time for music lovers. By the way, if you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, please do so, because that really helps me to grow my audience. Okay, so without further ado, let's start counting down the top 5 MTV Unplugged concerts. 5. Coming in at number 5, we have Bob Dylan Unplugged. Now, honestly, I'm not a huge fan of Bob Dylan. I do really respect him as a songwriter and the legacy that he's had for all kinds of music. So I think Bob Dylan is a genius, and I really appreciate his music, but I find his singing at times to be nasal and whiny and just annoying. Now, I know I'm probably going to cop some flack for that, but let me say that I do really like the vocals of most of his original recordings. I just don't like how they come off live, and especially on this concert. To give you an idea of what I mean, just listen to these two little samples of the classic track Like a Rolling Stone.
People call, say beware doll, you're bound to fall, you thought they were all kidding you. People call, say beware doll, you're bound to fall, you thought they were all kidding you.
Yeah, so you see what I mean. Although I don't love the singing on this concert, I do think it's a great concert to have in your collection. So there are two standout tracks for me. The first one is All Along the Watchtower. The first version that I heard was the Jimi Hendrix version, and I, for many years, thought that Hendrix wrote the song. But when I discovered that it was actually written by Bob Dylan, it made me appreciate and respect the singer a lot more. And he does a fairly decent job on this concert. The other standout track for me is Knockin' on Heaven's Door. It's one of my favorite Bob Dylan songs ever. And again, the vocals don't quite do it for me, but I really think that this is an important song, and it's good to see it on this MTV Unplugged concert.
4.
Coming in at number 4, Eric Clapton Unplugged. I believe this album has won Clapton some Grammys, and it features, I believe, one of the very first live performances of Tears in Heaven, which was not only the soundtrack to a movie, but it was also his best-selling single in the USA. However, for me, the standout tracks are Old Love and Layla. Now, I love Old Love. It's a song that he co-wrote with Robert Cray, who's just an amazing musician. I love the song, and I love this acoustic arrangement of the song. It's just brilliant.
Oh, love. Leave me alone. Oh, love. Just go on home.
The other song I really love on this concert is Layla. I actually heard the acoustic version, I think, before I heard the electric version, or the original that Eric Clapton did with Derek and the Dominoes. Maybe that is a bias for me, which is why I like the acoustic version better. But I don't think I'm alone in saying that I prefer the jazzy, stripped back acoustic version of Layla better than the original. What a classic.
Layla, got me on my knees, Layla, begging, darling, please, Layla, darling, won't you ease my worried mind.
3.
Number 3, Nirvana Unplugged in New York. Now, I'm pretty sure that every Nirvana fan likes this MTV Unplugged concert. It is so good. You see Kurt Cobain with the other members of Nirvana and also Pat Smear. They give an acoustic treatment to some lesser known songs from Nirvana's repertoire, as well as some cover songs. For me, a standout track is Come As You Are. I think that the reason I love this version of Come As You Are is that it already lends itself to the acoustic treatment, and this band doesn't have to do anything particularly different to play the song unplugged and for it to still sound amazing.
Come as you are, as you were, as I want you to be, as a friend, as a friend, as unknown enemy.
Another one of my favorite songs on this concert is Penny Royalty. In this one, Kurt Cobain does a solo performance. And the thing about performing solo is not only do you have to keep the rhythm by yourself, there's no drummer, there's no bass player to help you keep rhythm, but also all of the attention from the audience is focused on the vocalist's vocal performance. And I know that Kurt Cobain usually gets a bit of a bad rap as a vocalist, but in this concert we see that he's actually quite a good singer and very controlled. There are moments where it sounds like his voice is straining, that it's going to crack or that it's going to go out of tune, but Kurt holds it together really well and controls his voice and gives such an amazing performance, especially on Penny Royalty.
Sit and drink Penny Royalty. Still the life that's inside of me.
2.
My number 2 choice for the MTV Unplugged concerts is Alice in Chains Unplugged. There is not a bad song on this set list, and there's not a bad performance, even though when the band plays Sludge Factory, Lane Staley cuts it off at the beginning because he makes a mistake. You get to see that, warts and all, on this DVD. I think that this is one of the last releases that Alice in Chains had before the unfortunate passing of Lane Staley, just like the Nirvana concert was released around the same time as Kurt Cobain's death. Standout tracks for me are Down in a Hole. I really love the vocal harmonies achieved with Lane Staley's singing and Jerry Cantrell's backing. And I think they do just an amazing job. Again, with everything stripped back, there's more attention focused on the vocals and they don't disappoint. Another song that I really love on this concert is Rooster. Rooster is one of my favorite Alice in Chains songs anyway, and I feel that the acoustic treatment given to Rooster on this concert is really great.
1.
Coming in at number 1, Pearl Jam, MTV Unplugged. Now this is probably a biased opinion, but I think the reason why I value this concert so much is because compared to the other DVDs, this is quite rare. The only way that you can get Pearl Jam's MTV Unplugged concert on DVD is to purchase their deluxe edition of 10. So in this deluxe edition, it's a digipack, as you can see. You get the original mix of 10. You also get 10 Redux, which is a remix by Brendan O'Brien. And in my opinion, it's a superior mix. I'm sure there are fans out there who disagree, but for me, in Brendan O'Brien's remix, the drums are clearer, punchier, the guitars are clearer, everything seems louder and more in your face, and I listened to the album and I heard things that I never noticed when I listened to 10 prior to that. And of course, you get the MTV Unplugged concert on DVD as well, and they only perform 7 songs on that concert. All of the other DVDs that I've reviewed today have 14, 15 tracks. This one's only got half the number of tracks, but I tell ya, Pearl Jam do an amazing job. There are 6 tracks from the 10 album, and there's also State of Love and Trust, which was recorded, I believe, for the soundtrack of the movie Singles, which came out in 1992. It's a great song, and it's one of the standout tracks for me, but other standout tracks include Black. I really love the song Black. It's a ballad, it's dark, it's emotional, and it's just got so much emotion. And I believe that is one of the reasons why Pearl Jam decided not to release it as a single. It's a great song to listen to acoustically, and it's a really, really great version on this concert. The other standout track for me is Even Flow. Actually, all of them are amazing versions of the songs, but I just think that Even Flow is really nice to listen to acoustically. They play everything just the same with the guitars and the riffs, but the riffs obviously on an acoustic guitar don't quite sound the same, but they still sound really cool. I think that Eddie Vedder does an amazing vocal performance, and there's so much energy, especially in Even Flow. Okay guys, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Share the video with your friends and continue to enjoy watching music. See ya.